Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga. Today I have a calmly energizing practice for you. So if you suffer from seasonal affective disorder, this is going to be a great practice for you. You're going to need some props. I would suggest a couple of blankets, a bolster if you have one, any firm pillow can substitute for the bolster, a couple of blocks, which I can't model for you because I don't have blocks in my room right now. And I am sitting on a cushion right now, which I'm going to be using as well during this practice. So go ahead and gather up your props. Welcome back. This practice is roughly 25 to 30 minutes. And I'd like you to come to a seated position, hopefully with your hips higher than your knees, sitting on a cushion or some blankets, maybe in a chair, whatever feels comfortable for you. Just take your attention to your breath. And I'm going to ask you to notice how you feel in this moment, right here, right now. Without judgment, just noticing, how do you feel? And continue breathing. Noticing how it feels, the breath flowing in through your nostrils, either back out through your nostrils or perhaps out through your mouth, releasing any tension you may feel. Today's practice intention is to work on back strength physically, and on a more subtle level, it's a energizing yet calming practice. And we're going to do a little yin-yang here. I'm not usually a huge fan of combining yang movement, more active movement, with yin, but I do think as we get into the winter months when the days are short, that it's a good practice, and especially if you suffer from seasonal affective disorder or SAD, as I do. So, now we're going to practice some breath of joy, and I will demo that for you. This can be done seated or standing. Take your hands up to your hips. On an inhale, take them out. Exhale, spread your arms wide. Inhale up, and then exhale, just let it all go. So inhale up, out, up, and down. Up, out, up, and down. And just continue like that for a little bit. I have a little bit I want to talk to you about. And one of those things is called tapas. So by yoga philosophy, that is fire. It is discipline. And I do have a little cheat sheet here that I am reading from, just because I want to get this information across to you. So tapas is probably one of the most important things that you bring to your yoga practice. And I want to read this quote to you. It's from Patricia Walden, who's been practicing and teaching yoga for many, many, many years. Practicing at times of inertia builds strength of character, confidence, self-esteem, willpower. You are building tapas inner fire. And as another teacher that I read recently said, if you take medication, you wouldn't take medication every other day, unless prescribed that way, of course, right? You'd take it every day. I actually have a not so funny story I can share about that maybe during Savasana. But for now, let your breathing pattern go. Sit up tall or stand up tall. And let your face relax. Let your shoulders relax. A nice straight spine. And take a few breaths before we begin. And slowly open your eyes if they were closed. If you're sitting, come off whatever you are sitting on. Oops, sorry about that. And come to lie down on your side. Doesn't matter which side. Knees are bent and one arm is stretched out, or it can be bent like this. Take the other arm, bent elbow, so both elbows are bent, or the hands are straight out. I'm going to go ahead and bend my elbows, and I'm going to scooch forward. And inhale, just begin to open whatever arm is on top of your head. And then exhale, close. And starting your practice with a little movement when you are struggling with sad can feel really, really nice. And in fact, if all you're doing is practicing yin while you're struggling with some form of depression, that may not be serving you. It may not be helping you. And that's why I suggest asking yourself how you feel before you begin to practice. And of course, if you are struggling with depression where you can't function, you can't get out of bed, I am not a medical professional, I am not a therapist, and I would suggest that you seek one. Okay. Slowly take your hands to the mat, push yourself upright, and let's come to the second side and do the same thing. I also suggest, you can see I'm wearing some socks. Where I live, it is cold, it is winter, even though the calendar does not say that right now. And so, because we're not going to get super active, you want to be cozy. So you're sort of in a fetal position, knees are bent, legs are straight out from your hips. And you inhale, open that top shoulder, and exhale down. That should feel really nice. It feels nice to me. I hope it feels nice to you. The last inhale, open, and exhale down. And then slowly take your hands to the mat, walking them towards your body. Turn to face the short end of your mat. If you have a blanket, you might want to grab that. You may need it for this next pose or series of poses. So come to sit back on your heels. Now, if this is not comfortable, you can take that blanket and just put it on top of your lower legs, just like that, and that should make it feel a little more comfortable. If your ankles are uncomfortable, you can roll up another small towel or small blanket and put it underneath your ankles to make them feel more comfortable. And so take a couple breaths here. And again, allow everything to relax for a moment. And inhale your arms up as you come up to a high kneel. Exhale, begin to reach forward, coming through to cow. Inhale, sitting back on your heels. Exhale up, and then exhale down. Okay, my breathing was a little off right there, but we'll see if we can get it right. Inhale up. Exhale, stretch your arms forward. Inhale, press into your palms, walk them back under your shoulders, and let your belly come down for cow. Exhale, round up into cat, and inhale your arms up, and exhale, come back down. There we go, that's it. It's called flying cow. Inhale up. Exhale, stretch the arms forward. Inhale, walk them back under your shoulders. Let your stomach hang down. Exhale, round your back, cat, push the mat away. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, back to kneeling. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale, reach. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, arms reach up, and exhale, sit back. One last time. Inhale, reach your arms for the sky. Exhale, stretch like a cat. Walk your hands back on an inhale. Stomach comes down, cow. Exhale, push the mat away, round your back, cat. Inhale, arms reach up for the sky one last time. Exhale, sit your hips back to your heels and just pause here. And think about how you felt when you got on your mat today. Now, if you find the only thing you can do is lay in bed and do that first breath of joy, that's okay. That is the first step. Maybe you want to move some after you do that, and maybe not, but you'll have gotten some prana, some life force into yourself. And just notice, has anything changed for you here? Maybe you feel a little tingling through your legs, through your arms. Maybe your heart rate has sped up a little bit. I hope you feel just a little bit energized from those short exercises. Go ahead and come up. If you're using a blanket on top of your legs, you can go ahead and remove that now. But have it close by. Take your legs out to the side. And if you have a bolster, go ahead and grab that now. And take it horizontally across your mat, approximately down towards the lower third of your mat. Like I said, you can also use a couple of blocks of a blanket on top here, or a couple of very firm pillows. If you're using the bolster or whatever you're using, come on up, sit on top of it, and slowly begin to come down onto your elbows, one by one, and then all the way down. And grab that blanket, or if you have a firm cushion, something that's got a little weight with it, go ahead and take it on top of your stomach. This is supported bridge pose. And in this pose, our head is a little bit below our heart, so it's an inversion. And there are many, many benefits for inversions. And this one is a very accessible one to most people. And there are many physical benefits to inversions. And there is also the benefit of looking at a problem from a different perspective. So when we go upside down, we are literally turning our thoughts potentially upside down. It just lets us look at life through a different lens. And now that we've moved that energy down around a little bit, we're going to start and bring it back down and go through a few restorative, they're still yin poses, but they're more on the restorative side, to let that energy come down and to allow us to become very grounded. Notice anywhere in your body where you're holding tension. See if you can allow that to soften, perhaps in your face, maybe in your shoulders. You might even want to grab a blanket and put it underneath your shoulders to allow them to just relax into the support of the mat. My stomach is beginning to gurgle, and that is actually an excellent sign. It's a good sign that you're moving out of your sympathetic nervous system, your flight, fight, or freeze reaction, and into your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is exactly what we want. That is your rest and digest, or your tend and befriend. It tells your body it's okay to relax. Most of us nowadays spend a great deal of time in our sympathetic nervous system, and both are important. But whenever we're in either one too much, it's not a good thing. And most of us tend to spend more time in that fight, flight, freeze reaction. So one last minute here. Take your attention to your breath. Just notice any changes. Allow whatever comes up to come up. No judgment, it just is. And the last couple of breaths here. And last breath. If you've put something on top of your stomach, go ahead and set that over towards the side. And slowly press into your feet. Raise your hips if you have something underneath them. And slowly bring that out from under your back. And then just slowly roll over onto one side, taking your arm underneath your head. Take a couple of breaths here. Begin to press into your hands. So slowly raise your torso. Come to a seated position. Legs are straight out in front of you. And go ahead and grab that firm pillow or your bolster and go ahead and put it on top of your legs. And actually set that aside. Grab a blanket. And go ahead and sit on the edge of the blanket. And now grab your bolster. Go ahead and put that on top of your legs. If you have another pillow or block, I invite you to put that on top. And we're just going to take our hands down by our hips. Palms can be down or up, your choice. And if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. This is Caterpillar. And if you don't have any of these props, that's fine. You can do this without the props. It just brings a slightly more restorative feel to this practice. Winter is a time where we really should be slowing down and going inside. Everything about it, the short days, the darkness, the coldness, the lack of sunshine says, slow down, go inside. But we fight against that. All our modern conveniences make it difficult too. So when we fight against that and we get to the new year and we find we're just depleted and perhaps we're sick, some of that can be not going with the flow of the season, going inside and actually relaxing more. And that's where Yin Yoga is a great practice at this time of year. And let your head be very heavy. And just begin to fold over your lap or your props, whatever you have here. And if you have a block, you can take it on top and you can place your forehead on the block. Again, notice if you're holding tension somewhere in your body. See if you can just soften a little, wherever that might be. Notice how, if you're able to soften a little, you may be able to go a little deeper into the pose, although that is never the object. It's not about going really deep. It's about just allowing your body to soften. Realize you have nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, and this is time for you. How are you feeling in this moment, right here, right now? No judgments, just allow that feeling to be. Recognize that feeling and invite it in. One last minute here. Last couple of breaths. Slowly begin to push into your hands. Straightening your spine, slowly bringing your head back up and slowly blinking your eyes if they were closed. Go ahead and take your props, bring them out to the side. I suggest holding on to one blanket, coming off it if you're sitting on it, taking it towards the top of your mat. And go ahead and take the bolster or a couple of blocks underneath your knees. Take your feet and legs a little wider than hip width apart. And also, if you have a pillow, I'm going to invite you to take that about where your bra line is and up so that your head is supported. So it's almost a reclined fish, almost. Now just a little bit of a back bend here. It's another way yoga can give you calm energy. If you prefer, you can have nothing underneath your back. You can be laying on the mat, perhaps with the bolster underneath your knees. I do suggest that. It feels really nice. And that blanket, since I don't actually need it for my head, you can either put across your entire body to keep yourself warm, or you can just drape it across your stomach again. Or if you have another pillow, that may feel very nice. And I'm going to sit up to hold space for you. This is our last pose. I urge you to stay in it, stay with it. You know how yoga teachers are always telling you how you can take yoga off your mat. Well, actually staying in Shavasana for the full amount of time is one of those ways. It gives your body time to integrate what you've just practiced. And so, if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. I will let you know when it's time to come out. And I wanted to read a couple of more quotes. Amy Weintraub said, "Self-discipline evolves out of our practice, not the other way around." I think that's so true, really. And now I'll tell you that little story as you are relaxing. Some of you may remember a video that I shared with you this summer, where I actually had the phone with me, that I told you I was having a bit of a family emergency. So what had happened at that point in time, my mother has a live-in carekeeper because I live 2 hours away, my sister lives 40 minutes away, so we can't be there all the time. And she needs that help. The aide had called me that day to tell me that she had called 911, not for my mom, but for herself. So it turns out that the aide, because of where my mom lives, it's rather isolated, she'd been trying to stretch out her blood pressure medication. And because of that, her blood pressure had, not too surprisingly, gone up. So thankfully, she did not have to go to the ER that day. But as I said in the beginning, remember, you wouldn't take your medication every other day unless it was prescribed that way by your doctor. So yoga is a practice, and it is a practice that is best done at very least 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be 60 minutes a week. In fact, I would much rather you do 10 minutes of yoga every day than 60 minutes of yoga just once a week. And I know that sometimes that may feel like too much, especially at this time of year. But I want you to think about a time when there was something you really did not want to do, even though you knew it would make you feel better. And whether or not you did it anyway, and how that made you feel. Let your breath begin to deepen. Really feel your bones just pressing down into your mat, into the earth, being supported. Take any movements you may need to begin to wake up your body, maybe wiggling your toes and your fingers, perhaps moving your hips side to side, shaking your head, not shaking, but moving your head up and down and side to side. On the next inhale, go ahead and stretch your arms up over your head and your legs away from your arms. And then slowly bring your knees up. Take your feet to the mat and let them fall over to one side, stretching your bottom arm along your mat to cradle your head. Take a couple of breaths here. And still keeping your eyes closed, if they are. Begin to press into your hands, slowly walking your torso upright. And coming back into a seated, comfortable seated position. And one last time, I'd like to do a little breath work, a little movement, get rid of any last tension. Although I sincerely hope you don't feel tense. You can open your eyes at this point and take a look at me. And go ahead and interlace all your fingers except for your thumbs. The thumbs point straight up. Inhale, energy. Exhale, tension. Actually, inhale, release energy. No, that's completely wrong. Okay. Exhale, release tension. Inhale, bring energy in. There we go. Exhale, release tension. You can say it to yourself silently. Inhale, bring in energy. Exhale, release tension. Inhale, bring energy. And then let that go. Bring your hands down to your shins. And perhaps bring your palms together in front of your heart. Slightly bowing your head. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know you have a choice. I have so much gratitude for you for choosing me today. And I hope that you have gratitude for yourself for choosing to practice today. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And may you be at peace.